Hello there, today is day 37 of working on a currently untitled project, so let's hop right in. So today I'd like to announce that I got buy-in from the friend I was hoping would join with it and help with design. So Crunchy Fox is joining, at least that's the name she's going by for the time being. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Hopefully within the next couple of days I can get her to download Unity and, introduce her to some of the stuff she'll need to know, and she's not totally experienced, but she is fairly new still, so I'll have to work with her a lot on that, but I think her being around will really help with the design aspect, and I can still take care of all the main programming bulk. She's only joining part-time. She has another job that she's going to be working on, but I'm really excited about this and really happy that she decided to commit. Anyways, so yesterday I explored some ideas around the walls and the effects on them. So far I just haven't liked any of the variations. I tried a few different variations, I've explored some ideas, I've had discussions, and so on and so forth, and just nothing's resonated. I tried adding extra triangles. I tried that modification where I had the triangles at the edges instead, and that just didn't help really. It doesn't fix the fundamental problems that this has. I tried desaturating the walls, and I guess this can look a bit better. I tried unifying the colors so that there's only the tint going across, and this, it looks a bit more like it did previously, and maybe it looks a bit better. But it's, I don't know, it doesn't really resonate. I've tried orange, and that, I think that looks a bit better than the blue maybe, but it also maybe clashes a bit with the enemy color where it's a bit too similar and might be difficult to differentiate between walls and enemies for people who are differently abled. And I also tried adding in, the fade between the gaps, only as a highlight instead of as as a darkness, and that it's interesting at least, but it doesn't look horrific. At least it has a certain appeal to it that I sort of like. I tried the same sort of thing desaturated, and again, maybe it looks a bit better, and then unifying the colors so there's only the tint going across as color differentiation. I don't know, just fundamentally none of this looks good. I'm not exactly sure where to go with it. So I've just spent yesterday puzzling out through that and just, I don't know. I need to talk to my art friend about this and get their thoughts on this. There's also a problem with the lines here, which I'll go into during the ramble section, which may be pretty obvious if you're looking at it very much. You'll see it pretty clearly. Yeah. Anyways, for now, this is the end of the art pass, I think. I've spent too long on this. I need to move on to something else. As much as I want to keep working on art stuff, because there's still lots to do, I still need to prototype out what does a weapon look like, what do impacts look like, what does weapon firing look like, what does the player look like. I need to do another pass on the shell. There's so much to do, and there's the problem is that there's so much else to do apart from the art. I need to get working on that, because especially with Crunchy Fox joining the team, I need to make sure other stuff is ready for her to play around with, and that means I need to be thinking about, you know, supporting her in that framework rather than just, you know, hey, what's good for me right now. I need to make sure that I work on what will help her out as well. So yeah, that's all the core stuff. If you want to listen to me ramble for a short little bit, feel free to stick around, otherwise feel free to click off. So I mentioned that there's a bug with the highlights. You can see it right here. The problem is that this triangle here is distorted outwards, which means because the fade is based on the UV coordinates, that distorts this, and then this one is distorted inwards, so this line is thinner than this line. Yeah, this line's thicker, this line's thinner, and it ends up just... Yeah, now, because it moves, it changes over time, so like the thicknesses of these lines will change, but a moment ago, you know, one was thick, one was thin. You can see that over here, you can see that, where else? You can see that bit right here, you can see that very clearly down here. This is a very clear example. Yeah, it doesn't look good. So there are a few solutions to that. One would be to make the lines part of the mesh, the same way that the main highlights are part of the mesh. You decide on a thickness and, you know, go with that, rather than having it be adjustable, even though the adjustable is super nice to have. Like, I really like being able to just adjust, you know, but you can very clearly see the problems with, you can very clearly see the problems that exist when I buffer this out a bit further. Another solution would be just stopping the distortion, because especially if I'm going with like the desaturated look, just ending the distortion fixes the problem as well. Though it doesn't fix the flickering down here, which is unfortunate. I need to come up with a solution to that. Maybe just not having the lines be there would be the easiest solution. Just having them come down the sides and just end and not have a base, because, you know, if you look at it in the scene view, you know, it looks fine. It's just when you look at it from a steep angle, it doesn't look fine. It looks bad. It's the same basic problem that I had with the base highlights previously. Yeah, long story short, a bunch more problems. Right now, not much in terms of solutions, but, you know, it's... Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure out something. I'll hopefully talk with my art friend at some point in here, and she'll have some good insights as to what to do, or some new paths to take and something to try out, and maybe then I'll briefly return to a note pass, or maybe I'll just take notes and save it all for later. I'm not quite sure at the moment. Yeah. Anyways, that's all for now. If you have any comments, questions, ideas, or anything else on your mind, leave a comment below. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.